Hello there, Dan from Guitar from the Heart, and today I want to take a few minutes to talk about something that I think will really help you to be able to connect with your instrument and with others a lot more. We're going to talk about 5 reasons why every guitar player should aspire to learn how to play their guitar more without looking. Alright, this is going to be more of a talking video, so let me put this down and let me pick this up and let's put some music in the background that I happen to think is really cool. And let's talk about these 5 reasons why we should learn how to play the guitar without looking. Now, the first reason why we should learn to play the guitar without looking, which is that it helps to build more of a physical connection with the instrument. When we play the guitar, usually we're looking and looking down and we're seeing what our fingers are doing, and we tend to rely on a lot visually. As a consequence of relying so much on the visual input, we tend to look more at what our fingers are doing all the time, and then that can kind of cause us, in a way, ironically, for our fingers to tell us what we're going to do next, right? We look down, we see the scales that we practiced so hard to memorize, you see the pattern, right, that you memorized. Ironically, you look down, and when you see that pattern of your fingers in your mind, off to the races your fingers go, and then you just follow along as you kind of autopilot and watch your fingers go and do what they're doing. Now, this is not ideal because, again, we're musicians first and instrument players second. This is my philosophy. We only play an instrument as a medium through which to play music. One way to help get what's out in your heart through to your listener without the instrument of itself and your fingers getting in the way too much is by not looking down so much. Because when you're looking down, your fingers, you see all the patterns, and your fingers want to run and do the patterns that you memorize because you repeat it over and over again. But when you look away, and you should try this, look away for extensive periods of time. Just pick up your guitar and start playing, improvising, or just maybe playing things you know, and don't look at all for like 5 minutes straight if you can help it. You're gonna look, but try not to. Manage to do that for 5 minutes. What's gonna happen is other systems are gonna start kicking in. You're gonna be more aware of what's happening in the moment, taking in the sounds that are being made and feeling the way you want to express. Because you're listening more instead of looking at it, normally you take in the visual input, you're taking in more of the feeling of the music that's coming out by listening it through your ears. That will help you to build more of a intimate connection, more awareness of how you actually sound when you're playing. Now, the second reason that I want to submit to you why you should look less at your instrument when you play and practice prolonged periods of time without looking at your instrument, and why you should play without looking at your instrument, you will develop your ear more. Now, I already talked about this. I made some points in my last thing, but this point is just about learning to play by ear. Now, I don't play completely by ear. I'm not going to claim that. I wasn't born with the gift of being able to play by ear, but I believe that to some extent, every one of us can learn to play by ear. Practice deliberately, we can develop the skill more and more. By not looking at your instrument all the time and not taking in that visual input, we're allowing our ears to do the bulk of the input that we're taking in from our instrument. We have the additional input of the sense of touch, where we feel the instrument. If you're not looking all the time and taking visual input as your primary source of information, your body is going to rely more on the sense of hearing and the sense of touch. And because you have that more sense of touch awareness, you're going to feel what you're doing on the instrument better. And this will help you to develop more feel into your playing, in terms of like when we talk about playing with feel, but also you can feel your technique better because you're not only looking at it, you're feeling it without looking at it, and you're having to rely on that sense of feel to see if you're doing things right. Because we're not relying on sight as our primary source of information, now our ears are going to perk up more and try to hear what's going on more, and that's going to make you more aware of what's going on, period, as you play. You will also become, as you practice for prolonged periods, your ear will become, you'll be able to hear things like when you're out of tune better, nuances. You'll be able to hear nuances in your playing that you normally wouldn't even be aware of, because you're always using your vision as your primary source of information. Now, the third reason why you should seek to play more without looking, and why you should practice for prolonged periods of time, if possible, without looking at all, has to do with being able to play the guitar from the heart and have fun with that. You'll be able to play what you feel better because you've developed more of this sense of hearing what's going on, hearing nuance better, hearing tune better, hearing the pitch better, and you've developed also more of a physical connection with the instrument. You can feel what's going on better. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not downing on the sense of sight being used in the guitar. In fact, when you're practicing a new thing, you have to look, you have to see what's going on. There's no other way to really develop good technique. At least visual input is your primary source of being able to take in information initially and to use that to your advantage to build up your technique. What I'm talking about here is when you already have a technique down, that to take it to the next level, take your playing to the next level. So you've developed a higher sense of hearing, a higher sense of feel, and now you're able to take what you feel and express it through the instrument with more emotion because all of those things are not getting in your way. Listen, we all have guitar players that we've looked up to. I guarantee you that your favorite guitar player, for the most part, when they're really killing it and they did that thing that was so amazing to you that it inspired you to pick up the guitar and try harder, they probably weren't looking at their fingers 90% of the time. The fact that we can look away allows us to just close our eyes or throw our head back and just get into it more. And what can I say? That's priceless. But if you train yourself to only look at your fingers all the time, it's very inhibiting. Now, the third and fourth reasons why you should play without looking at your fingers as much and why you should practice for prolonged periods of time have to do with our interactions with other people. So I want to say first, if you desire to play in a band at some point, playing in a band, this is the fourth reason. While playing in a band, you have to interact with the other musicians. Guess what? In real life, when you're up on stage and you're in band practice, or better yet, when you're performing in front of an audience, you're gonna need to look away from your instrument. You might need to look away to see what the band leader is saying to do on the fly. Like for me, I played a lot in church for like 8 years, and a lot of times there might be a speaker and they might be gesturing to the band to like start playing or whatever. You gotta be able to see what's happening around. And if you're already playing, you need to be able to look up to see what's happening around you. You're not in a bubble all by yourself. The other thing is, if you're a person who's reading off of a paper, as we many times do in a live setting, we have like the cheat sheet with the chords or whatever, or if you're blessed enough to be able to read the dots on the fly, you need to be able to look away from your instrument. If you never practice to play while looking away, it's going to be hard to do. Having this skill of being able to play without looking at your instrument is very powerful for whenever you get together with other musicians to play in a band. Just something to think about. And finally, the last reason why you should play less looking at your guitar once you've mastered stuff and practice to do so is kind of like where it all comes together for me. It has to do with performance for an audience. Whether you're playing in a band, whether you're playing by yourself, whether you're getting something out through your heart, through your instrument that you've built more of a physical connection with and more of a connection through audio with, through your ears, and you built up all of these skills of being able to close your eyes when you're playing, or throw your head back when you're playing, or just go crazy and put it behind your back. Not really. I don't know. Some people can. Hey. But however you want to express yourself, if you can play something without looking, so many more opportunities open up. And now you can interact with the band that's around you, but especially you can connect with the listener, which is really what this is all for. Listen guys, we don't play the guitar for us. I mean, we do, but not only for us. Really, at the end of the day, we're doing this because we want to share with someone else, which is why it's so important to play from our heart, because if we don't play from our heart, what are we really sharing, right? Just maybe something that somebody else made from their heart once upon a time. Even in doing that, if you're not expressing yourself through your heart and you're just a robot, then who cares? I could just tell, the computer software to play a MIDI tune, with the dots. We're musicians, and our ultimate goal should be to serve somebody else, the listener, the audience, the person who's witnessing the performance, to serve them by sharing something with them of meaning, of purpose, of something that matters, The beauty of being able to play without looking allows you to, guess what? Imagine I'm just sitting here this whole time and I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you about, how you should play the guitar, and it's so great, and you should play it without there's something weird about that, right? When I'm not looking at you. And I found through experience, lots of it, that I can be playing my guitar for somebody, but if I just look down all the time and I don't look at my audience, it's kind of like when we were kids and we went up on the stage in front of the classroom and we just read the speech off the paper, right? And then at some point we had to learn how to actually talk to people and interact and gesture and see who's falling asleep in the back and say, hey, wake up. Not really, but some people do that. But we had to learn, right? How to take up the level of maturity. And if you want to go to the next level of maturity as a guitar player, I believe you have to be able to perform what you showed up to do, and sometimes be able to look up from your paper, which is your fretboard, and look up at your viewer and interact and see what's going on, see if they're falling asleep, see if a listener feels awkward if you don't connect with them on a human level when you're performing. Now, there's sometimes we're just zoned out and we're ripping it up, somebody's playing something really technical and whatever, that's fine. But if you're playing just a couple of chords or whatever, and you never look up, you never make eye contact, it's just kind of weird for everybody. And if we're able to play without looking, we're able to express ourselves. We have that feel in our fingers that we can feel what's going on down there without looking. And our ears are telling us where to go next without looking. It just frees us up to interact with the other people in our band, to interact with, the person in the back seat over there, the person in the front row over here, right? To go to see our friend over there that's making a goofy face in the fourth row, and to just, laugh because only you and your friend got the inside joke. You know what I'm saying? But if you're just looking at your paper the whole time, I'm just trying to help you guys to level up. That's 5 reasons why you should learn how to play looking less. Why you should learn how to play without looking. Hey, this might just be the thing that will take you to the next level while you were stuck and not feeling as fulfilled as you could as a musician. You just need to look away from the paper and start interacting with people more. Start being a listener more to what's going on. And it just opens up a whole new world. I really hope that helps you guys. Thanks for watching. Play the guitar from the heart and have fun with that. If you like this video and you want to see more content like this, please give me a like and subscribe and hit the notification bell, so at least you can see me in your feed. I mean, hey, listen, I know you ain't gonna always watch me. What can I do? But at least you'll see me. YouTube will show me to you a couple more times before they put me to the bottom of the pile again. And in my next video, I'm gonna be talking about specifics of how we can develop this skill of playing without looking. So today I wanted to persuade you why you should, and the next video is going to be the how. Stay tuned for that.